Guys, you can do real estate investing anywhere, right? So when we travel, we like to look and see what there is to see. So this is just a small town in Texas. We're about an hour and 20 minutes outside of Dallas-Fort Worth area. And from what we're being told by multiple people, this is the place to be. 10 years ago, it was Austin, Texas. Now it's Denison. All right, today we're going to meet a couple of real estate investor developers, and I think we're going to be shown the town of Denison. Tonight we're going to go to a real estate investors meetup. That's what we came to Texas for. We're going to see Felipe, who we just put a video out with last week, and we were on the San Juan Social Club cruise with. So we're going to wait here at this house that just got renovated and is on the market, and we're going to meet Homero Corona. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Robbie Krager, the Flip Flop Flipper, and today we're in Denison, Texas. We're with Homero Corona. Thanks for taking some time to show us your renovation, and we're gonna walk through this place. We're gonna have a conversation about real estate investing. This is a fun one, guys. Buckle up.
We're out here in Denison in a 2-bed, 1-bath property that we're putting the final touches on a renovation. It was pretty much a little bit of everything. We purchased it from a tire landlord. You know, he's
From a tire landlord, my favorite sellers.
Yeah, so there's a lot of them out there right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of struggles with, property taxes, insurance, and, he's just getting ready to retire and wants to enjoy, golf and not have to worry about it. So he's slowly starting to sell off all his rentals. This was one of them where in this area, there's a lot of, landlords that don't really do much. They rather just sell it well below market, but never do anything to the property. This is kind of one of those properties that had, a little bit of everything as far as original, right? So
what would have rented for before you fixed it?
Probably somewhere around, I think he was renting it for $750, but right there, $750, $800.
$800 a month, okay.
Yeah.
And that was with, it was kind of a dumpy 2-bedroom, 1-bath house.
Yeah.
You turned it into something pretty nice.
Yeah, pretty nice. Yeah, roaches everywhere.
You want to show us?
Yeah, sure. So we put all new siding on the outside, windows, flooring. Pretty much other than the bones, we redid everything, right? Put nice, affordable, nice flooring, vinyl flooring, sheetrock. We had to put new sheetrock. We actually
all new sheetrock.
About 75%.
Wow.
About 75% new sheetrock.
Did it have termites or wood rot?
It didn't. It was infested with roaches, and it was just it had it was just real crappy.
I love the high ceilings though, and what you did with the recessed lighting.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's pretty cool too. We were walking through earlier saying it looks just like what we do in Orlando, Florida.
Really?
So when we renovate in Puerto Rico, we probably wouldn't do the LVP. We certainly wouldn't have drywall. Like everything would be concrete. Right. But in Orlando, Florida, like this is the way we would renovate this house as well. Same doors, same windows, floors, kitchens even. Even the granite looks just like what we would use. Right. So yeah, it's pretty sick that no matter where you go, you can renovate a house like this for 35 or 40 grand. Is that about right still?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was for us. Yeah. $35,000, $40,000. And I mean, it's just a move-in ready house, something that, people want. Yeah. So
we were walking through the yard and guessing what we thought it would sell for. Right. And what you purchased it for, but I'll let you tell us what you got it for. Yeah. We were wrong.
Right. Yeah. Well, we purchased this one for right around $80,000. Yeah. And then renovation is right around $40,000 on it, maybe 45. We ended up putting a new roof as well. Okay. So right around $45,000 is what the renovation is, and we're gonna go ahead and put this one on the market for $170,000. Okay. Because it is a 2-1. So we like to focus on houses under $250,000 because I think a lot of people are trying to solve a lot of issues in the real estate market, and we understand that right now the biggest issue is affordability, right? Right. So we're focusing on that, $250,000 and under home. Obviously in DFW it's sometimes a little bit harder. We do, go into $300,000 and whatnot, but we really like that $200,000, $250,000 range.
And then you sell it with some terms, right?
Yeah,
so you sell it in a special way.
Yeah, we like to sell it for owner financing, and we like to be the bank, We like to not just do a job once and get paid for it. We like to do a job once and get paid over and over and over and over. Right. And do it in a way where we're really using very little to none of our money. Right. Something I've discovered since I got into this business is find a way to do it with none of your money.
So
right?
how did you make the purchase without using your own
right.
cash?
So through our network, we have a private loan through somebody that has an IRA, right? And they lent us the money to buy the property, and it was a short 12-month loan to do all the renovations, and then we actually did use some of our cash to do the renovations.
Yep.
But we're going to go ahead and turn around and sell it with donor financing, and whenever we structure it, we like to structure it where we originate 2 notes, right? So we originate 2 notes to be able to sell off the first, pay the private lender, right? And typically we have very little to no money invested in the deal once we do that.
Okay.
Right? So let's say that we sell the house for somewhere around $170,000. Let's say that we get $20,000 as a down payment.
Yeah.
Now we have $150,000 balance. We structure it typically, let's say $100,000 first, second, $50,000 second, and we go ahead and sell that $100,000 loan to somebody that's just looking for passive income.
Okay.
So they have a first position $100,000 loan on a $170,000 asset. So when you look at the numbers, it's very good LTV,
right.
ITV, all those
They're
numbers.
super safe.
Super safe.
Yep.
Right. And we've got $100,000. Right. So we pay off our $80,000 private lender. And then we have $20,000 for part of the renovations. And then keep in mind, we already received $20,000 as a down payment. There's 40, right, which is kind of our
so
rental.
You're out. You've got all the money out.
So I got all the money out. Now I have a $50,000 loan that I'm going to get paid for the next 30 years.
Amazing.
At 10, 11%.
Okay.
So
the second's at 10, 11%, and the first that you're selling off?
10, 11% as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you're able to sell the house at $170,000 to someone who will put $20,000 down, pay you 10 or 11% over 30 years.
Yep.
They don't have to go to the bank. They don't have to qualify.
Right.
They really just have to have 20 grand and want to live in the house.
Want to live in the house, have 20 grand, and have a good, reliable job or business. A lot of the people we sell to are self-employed, so they write out a lot on their taxes. So a bank.
And you have a new group of investors that are going to do the IRA investment again on the first mortgage that you're selling, or how do you sell that first $100,000 mortgage?
Yeah, most of these people are, I would say somewhat seasoned. They understand it a little bit. They're note investors. They have been in the business for some time. And something that I found out, sometimes within the first few years, the first 5 years, 10 years, fixing and flipping can be fun, but as we all know, it can be very stressful. And sometimes people get burned out, they get tired, and they're like, you know what, I'd rather just put my money to work, and I want to, just get a consistent stream of income. So a lot of times it is somebody that, maybe has a W-2 and they have some money set aside, or somebody that has a business and they just want to put their money to work a little bit while they start understanding the business a little bit more. So it's kind of a variation of different types of groups, but through our networks, people kind of watch us and see what we do. They obviously see, the product that we deliver. It's a good, quality product, because sometimes there is a lot of different structures, and sometimes people buy these types of homes, they buy them as is and they sell them as is, which is fine. But if you're the lender, if you got to take that property back,
I'd rather lend $100,000 on this house that's been renovated, than to lend $80,000 on the house that hasn't been renovated for someone who's going to live here, right? The person who's going to live here now is going to take care of the house.
Correct.
The person who would buy it distressed is going to live in it distressed for 30 years, and it's going to get worse and worse.
Yeah, we know that. And the other thing too is our mentality with, my partner is, we never want the homeowner to decide, do I fix the plumbing or do I make the mortgage payment?
Right.
Do I fix the HVAC? We don't want them to make a decision. So we want to make sure that they have a nice, sound house with all the major things taken care of. And them not having to do things other than maybe their personal touch, painting a wall a different color, flower bed, those simple things.
They make it their home.
They make it their home.
They put the landscaping in, maybe they paint the walls purple if that's what they like, whatever it is that calls it home for them. So now when you sell the note, are you servicing the note for the person who's buying that first mortgage, or do you just hand it off and you're done with it and all you care about is your 50? So
I actually learned about note investing through, I'm not sure if you know him, but Eddie Speed through Note School.
I talked to Eddie yesterday, and we're going to do an interview with Eddie soon.
Okay,
in the next couple
of
weeks.
He's definitely one of my mentors and showed me the ropes and definitely showed me how to do it the right way. So all the notes that we originate where the borrower pays for the note servicing fee. So all our notes are serviced. We don't self-service. So all our notes are serviced by a third-party RMLO, who right now we use Provident Loan Servicing. Sohail is actually the founder and owner. He has an office here in Grapevine, South Lake area. So they're originated properly with the RMLO, and the borrower pays for that note servicing fee.
Yep.
That way, whoever's buying that note, it's an easy transition.
Yeah.
They see all the documentation of the payments, the history, taxes, insurance. They don't have to worry about all that. Everything's escrowed, and they just basically, it's actually fairly simple, right? Where it's just a couple of documents that they sign where we're assigning that note
Yep.
to the new, lender.
Yep.
And then they just basically take over and start collecting the payments, and those payments go directly to that person.
And if there's ever a default, do you have a first option to buy it back and make it right? Because you'd take the house back
Right, yeah.
if you had to.
Yeah, well, that's one of the other reasons people sometimes like our structure, because we typically hold our second forever for cash flow. We're still invested in the deal, right?
Right.
So if something ever happens, we want to make sure that we foreclose or buy that first or whatnot, because we still have a interest, right?
Yep.
Because we don't want to get wiped out. And also, a lot of times, as you mentioned, some of the lenders or people that are buying that first don't have a lot of experience. And for them, it could be overwhelming. Hey, I don't know what I'm going to do if I foreclose, which thankfully we've never had to foreclose. Every now and then we might have to send a notice of default, and usually, they, take care of it and make the payments.
Yeah.
But in that event, we will take care of it.
Okay. And if interest rates come down, your buyer is now highly incentivized to go to the bank and refinance everybody out,
Right.
your first and your second.
Right.
So you win again
Correct.
when that happens, if they
Yeah.
pay you off.
Yeah, because you remember that $50,000 second and the first, right, is amortized typically for, we do it 15, 20, 30 years. A lot of them are 25, 30 years, right?
Yeah.
So we understand and know, just like the bank, the first 5, 7, 8 years is interest only. So after the first 7 years, that $50,000 second may still be $44,000 or so,
Right.
$43,000. So after 5 or 7 years, you've been collecting for the past 5, 7 years monthly cash flow that's mostly interest.
Yep.
And then you get a lump sum check of $43,000 or whatnot every
Nice.
5 or 7 years.
It's an amazing business model. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm thinking that it's much easier for you to find a buyer
Right.
than typical. And I'm sure that when you put the house up for sale, if someone comes around and they want to just get bank financing, you're fine with that
yeah,
too.
we're fine with that too.
Sure.
But yeah, typically that's the other thing in this current market, as we know, affordability, is a big issue, and there's not a lot of the same amount of buyers as there was just a few years ago. But for us, the fact that we're offering owner financing just increases our buyer pool significantly, where a lot of those people, and sometimes a lot of these folks don't even think that they can get a loan, or somebody will give them an opportunity.
Right.
I talk about this all the time. The majority, I'd say 90% of our closings, especially the males, which is a lot of them are Hispanic. It's hard to make a Hispanic male cry, but most of them are crying at the closing table because
Wow.
they're so grateful that somebody gave them a chance and opportunity.
That's so cool. What a great story.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your origin story. How'd you get started in real estate?
Yeah. So try to keep it fairly short, but so I'm originally from Arizona. I grew up in Arizona. I'm originally from Michoacan, Mexico, but I grew up in, since I was 2 in Arizona, and I kind of had a fork in the road, right? Where at the time, about, I want to say, I don't remember exactly, somewhere around 2011-ish, I had been doing network marketing. So I did network marketing for about 5.5 years, and I actually had some friends that wanted me to help them expand a shoe cleaning business to Grapevine. So I actually ended up coming to Grapevine to sell a shoe cleaner, believe it or not,
Wow.
in the middle of the mall at a kiosk.
Yeah.
So I did that for several years, but I always knew and heard real estate investing, is one of the best ways to be a multimillionaire. And I always wanted to get started, but just like a lot of folks, it's like, I don't have the money. I don't know anybody in real estate. But along my journey, I met some folks that had, some experience. One of them was a flipper and one of them was a landlord. So in 2018, at that time, 2016, I actually went to a Robert Kiyosaki event, and it was like, hey, come to the $149 class. But it was like, all right, you're ready to learn real estate. If you're serious, go ahead and sign up for the $25,000, $35,000, or $50,000 club, right? And I
Right.
didn't have the money.
Right.
So I just kind of decided to go on and pursue car sales. So I did car sales for about 4.5 years, but I always knew that I wasn't going to do it long term, even though since my first year, I started making 6 figures. And, in 2018, I said, you know what? I don't want to be a slave anymore. Making, 6 figures is great, but I want to have an actual life with my family.
Right.
So we have a son, and 2018 I decided to just basically drop everything and say I'm going 100% all in real estate. So I really just quit 100% and I just went all in.
Wow.
I got my real estate license. My mentor said, hey, get your real estate license so you can understand contracts and understand the basics. And I started wholesaling. I started door knocking pre-foreclosures. That's how I started. And then from there I started transitioning, right? From wholesaling only to started doing my first flip. And then from doing my first flip to buying rentals. And then from buying rentals to start learning about notes. And
You
then
just haven't never looked back.
Yeah, never looked
How
back.
many deals in total?
I don't know how many deals in total, but I wouldn't say it's a whole lot, but they're all typically good deals. I don't know, to be honest, somewhere around between 50 and 100.
Nice. That's great. And,
Yeah.
And it's provided a good life.
Provide a good life.
Yeah.
So
And
we
you still have notes
homeschool.
on all of those 50 or 100? You still have notes on all of those?
Not all of them, because some of them were flips, some of them were wholesales.
Yeah.
But now, we do have a rental portfolio and we have a note portfolio, so we get cash flow from both. We're building wealth, and more than anything, it's the lifestyle, right? Being able to travel with our family.
Do what
being
you
able
want
to-
when you want.
Exactly.
You answer
Yeah.
to yourself,
Right.
God, your wife.
Yeah. So we homeschool. Our son's autistic, and since 2020, COVID, right? We took him out of public school system. He's really struggling, and now we homeschool. And that's been really the most important piece to all
Nice.
this, is being able to have the freedom to do that. My wife's been a stay-at-home mom.
Wow.
Since since we got together, and it's provided a lifestyle and freedom for our family. And it's always up and down, and when it comes to real estate. And I think a lot of people are looking at it with a lot of uncertainty. But if you remember, in these times is when there's the biggest opportunity.
Yeah.
You just got to be around the right people, such as the community that you're building, and the right mentors. And I think that's the key right now, is being around the right people, keep learning, stay energetic, stay positive, and I think you can do really well.
Yeah, it's a great message, you guys. If I'm watching this and thinking about getting started, I'd be inspired by that. That's part of how I got started, was seeing someone who had some success and saying, hey, if they could do it, I could do it. Right. The truth is, guys, if he can do it and I can do it, you could do it too. You just jump in, right? It's about taking action and getting going. It's not trying to time the market and wait for the perfect deal. We're going to put out some other content on this very soon, because I think a lot of people get stuck in their own mind, and they let these kind of thoughts that come across keep them from doing it. I can't because I don't have the money, or I don't know the right people, or basically it boils down to fear. Right. Don't be fearful. Jump in. You can do it.
Yeah, I think that, as you said it, so many times, we want to do something, but we're always just fearful. And I always say, it's always worse in your mind than reality.
That's
like
right.
when I first got started in door knocking, it was like, I didn't know what I was going to say. I didn't have a script.
Yeah.
It was like, I just started door knocking, and I just, try to have a conversation and just solve people's problems and let them know. And I didn't have all the answers.
Yeah.
But I started taking action. And that's something about, that I've done, is that I don't have all the right answers, but I take a lot of action. I learn a little bit, go take action.
Yeah.
Right. Versus sometimes, as we say, don't let the knowledge lead to procrastination.
Yeah.
You got to take action and actually do something once you start learning.
Man, you're saying it exactly right. I've been doing this 27 years. I don't have all the answers. I don't always know what the right move is, but I will take action. And I'll tell you what, every time I have taken action and moved myself forward, life gets a little bit easier. I learn from my mistakes. The truth is, had I known all the stuff that I know now when I first started out, I couldn't have done half of the stuff I did, because I did a lot of stuff because I didn't know any better. Right. And it turned out all right. Now I would look at that and go, I'm not doing that. Guys, you can start. It's okay. Get in the game. Let's go.
Yep, let's go.
We're
going to make mistakes. That's the reality.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to be small, some of them are going to be big, but we keep moving forward and keep learning.
Yeah, mistakes aren't mistakes if you're learning from them. They're learning experiences, right?
College tuition. in a different way. It's tuition.
It's better than college tuition. College used to promise the better life, right?
Yeah.
It no longer
No,
does.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
this college of hard knocks and becoming an entrepreneur and a real estate investor, it does lead to a good life. I mean, you've got financial freedom. You have the ability to have your wife stay at home and take care of your son and teach him. I mean, it really is a powerful thing.
No, for sure.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate that.